30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are tuned in. Welcome to the smoke break. I don't know about you, but I'm not a smoker. Clay, are you a smoker? You
No, maybe here and there, maybe, depends on the mood,
Depends on the mood, depends on probably what we're sipping on. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the smoke break. Our guy Z-Bot is under the weather. And I'm telling you right now, he's under the weather, and he that's exactly what the Steelers are going to be feeling when they face us on Sunday. They're going to want to hurl in a bag because they're going to want to go home, right? But guess what? We're going to give them the business because it's happening this week, week 1. This is the first week of the NFL. Game starts tomorrow. Hold on. Who's playing tomorrow? Dallas against what? Tampa?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ooh, that's a treat. I'm actually looking forward to that one. So, folks, welcome in. I am your host. I'm your co-host, actually. My man Clay is right next to me. Salute to my man Clay, and I'm your host Rico, and this is the smoke break. So, welcome everybody tuning in. So, this is Steeler week. This is Terrible Towel week. There's a lot of things to be looking forward to, but I'm going to start off by putting Clay on the spot, and this is a point of giving him some love. If you guys haven't been familiar, if you guys checked our YouTube page, we sent Clay out on the town, right? And he was able to do some wing test tasting. And I don't want to jump into it. I'm going to let Clay get into it and tell people exactly what you were up to this past week.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, we're fortunate enough to get the opportunity to go there and be guest judges. And I'm really the only guy in Buffalo these days for Fanatics. So, lucky me, I get to go and do these things out here. So it was a really cool experience. We got the the VIP passes when we came in. And we got our judges sheets, and we went around in 14 different tents, 14 different wings that we tried. What we had to do is just go up and say, give me your best wing, whatever you think that is, give us that wing, and that's what we judged. It was really, really cool. By the time I got to that 14th wing, I was really feeling it. So it was good that it was kind of overtime a little bit. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. And then obviously being able to go out on the field, it's always cool to be able to do that. And they had a bunch of vendors and a grandstand out there, and Joey Chestnut was dogging on wings on the stage. So it was a really cool experience. And, just it felt like all of Buffalo was there. Saw a bunch of people that, that I knew. I saw some of the Rumblings guys. I saw some fans of Fanatics there, a couple of famous chefs. I believe Chase, I'm sorry, Chase, if that's not your name. I thought that's what it was. And now I'm afraid that I'm misspeaking, but he's in the chat now. So hello, and thank you for coming up. He came up, introduced himself, said he was a big fan. He pointed you out by name, actually. He said, I've been watching Rico for a while. So so that was really cool to be able to experience that. And I felt pretty professional too. People kept on asking me questions because they thought I worked there. So that was kind of funny.
Yep, listen, that's dope. And here's the beautiful part. This is going to be something that we're going to be part of for years to come. So, Clay, you're going to be a staple over there. You're already a judge. They're probably going to make you a celebrity guest judge again. So be on the lookout to do some wing testing. Now, I have to say this, though. 14 different wings. Was there at least one or two that stood out to you like, okay, this is something maybe I can try to attempt to make at home?
Say that one more time. Sorry.
Is there a wing that you tasted, maybe two, are you like, you know what, this is so damn good, I'm going to try to make this at home, I'm going to recreate this?
That's a tough one. Honestly, There were some where they were really good, but I know I will never in a million years be able to recreate it. But there were definitely some of the Carolina golden barbecue. That's kind of my go-to.
Okay.
If it's not the regular hot, medium, and mild, then usually my go-to is that Carolina golden barbecue. So there were a couple there. I think it was Old Union Hotel and Center Street Grill. Those two places had some really, really good Carolina barbecue sauces that I thought about after. And I was like, you know what, that might be it. Also, yeah, before we move on to Chance, it was not Chase, it was Chance. So my apologies, Chance, for mishearing you. And second guessing myself. I'm glad I did. But yeah, thank you. It was great to meet you, man.
Absolutely. We got my man Brian P says, not to stray from the topic, but Clay, you're a doppelganger with my kid brother. I guess
it's really funny. I get told I look like a lot of people, and at this point, I think I just look like a really basic white guy. And it's like every other like white guy that looks pretty basic is like, you know what, he kind of looks like this guy over here. I've gotten Mitch Trubisky. I've gotten Jacob Hollister. Yeah, so I get quite a few.
I'll take that, man. So my man G Seal says, "Yo, we need Rico to judge Canadian beer. Trust me, you don't want me judging anything beer related, because every one of them that did make me sip, I'd say trash. I'm not a beer drinker. Beer doesn't do it for me. I just don't know what it is. I'd rather drink hard liquor than beer. It just doesn't do it for me.
I mean, you got the whole bar behind you.
I know, right? But you're not gonna find any beer up here. I'll tell you that right now. So, folks, let us get right into it. My man Mark Malone says, "Hey, I'm a chef, and I'll recreate those wings for you. Shoot, if you can give us some nice wing recipes, by all means, man. I got a pack of wings that I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with. So I might do lemon pepper, but if you got something for us, drop it our way, man. We'll definitely do that. So we have a huge game coming up this week, and a lot of Bills fans are very confident that we'll take this game. One in particular person that we both know is a little too confident, if you ask me, and that's our guy Judge. Judge has no worry in the world. He feels that we're just gonna walk in, handle business, and walk out. Are you as confident as Judge is us playing the Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not as confident as him. I think it's at least going to be a fairly close game, and that's just because it's a really well-coached team, you know, and it's hard to blow out a well-coached team, regardless of, you know, if they lost some pieces or they gained some pieces. They're going to go out there and they're going to play pretty good football. You know, they didn't really lose too many key pieces on defense for them to drop off a cliff. I think they're still going to have a really good defense. And the offensive system is going to be way different from what we saw last year. So, you know, I can't say I'm like incredibly nervous. I don't think we're going to lose the game, but I think it will be fairly close. And I think it's definitely going to be a fight at least, unless Josh Allen comes out looking like he did against the Packers, where it's this, you know, he was just playing really smart football, just taking whatever the defense was giving him. If it's 5 yards, it's 5 yards, and I'll take it every play. And then, you know, if he does something like that, they could start running up the score. But I think it's going to be at least a fairly close game.
I'm going to be with you. I think it's going to be and you mentioned something that I failed to mention. Two things I failed to mention yesterday on the Rico report was two big concerns, and one major one was Coach Tomlin. You mentioned it. You said coaching a team that's well coached, you're not about to just run right through them. And Tomlin has been. I don't think he's missed the playoffs ever since he's been a Steelers coach. I think it's one fact, or he's always had a winning record. One of the two, but still impressive nonetheless in a very tough AFC North. So you mentioned something about the offensive side of the ball in Pittsburgh. They no longer have the same offensive coordinator. What I'm hearing is that this dinking and dunking and cross routes, and that's going to be no longer. You're going to see a lot more airing the ball out with speedsters like Chase Claypool, not Chance, Chase, and our guy Deontay Johnson. So can you speak on a little bit of the offensive side of the ball, our film guy guru?
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot different from what we saw last year. I mean, before I always botch this guy's name. Finchner, I think is how it's pronounced. The previous offensive coordinator, he was a lot more old school in the way that he did things. Didn't really use a lot of pre-snap motion or formation changes at the line of scrimmage. Matt Canada is like the complete opposite of that. He's going to change the formation probably every play. He's going to go out with one look and he's going to change it for you. So that's going to be the biggest thing that you'll notice right away, is that all these guys are going to be moving around. And kind of what scares me about that a little bit is all three of their top receivers are guys that can pretty much line up anywhere. So because that, I think it might resemble somewhat of a Brian Dable offense, where it's you got guys moving all over the place, into the backfield, out of the backfield, into a wing, things like that. Guys just moving all over the place pre-snap. And because of that, he's going to get a lot of looks throughout. And, it's, well, we're in this formation, how do they guard that? And when we're in this formation, we switch to here, what do they do? So he gives himself an opportunity to be able to see things and plan for things later on, just by giving multiple looks like that. So that's kind of my biggest concern, really. I do still think that it's not going to be the same 3-step drop, get the ball out type of a thing. We will see Ben under center. We will see him do 5-step and 7-step dropbacks, and there's going to be a lot more. Probably, it's still going to be a lot of timing and anticipation routes, but it's going to be a lot more complex. It's not just going to be this Ben Roethlisberger throwing it 50 times a game. It's going to be a little more complex.
I think it's going to be a little more complex. Not only is it going to be complex, it's going to be more balanced, I think. Now they have a new running back in Najee Harris. I don't know how you feel about Najee Harris, but Najee Harris, to me, is a player that can single-handedly spark this team, right? And right now, word is, Starla Tulele did not practice today. Mm-hmm. All right. And I'm not sure if this is something that we should be concerned about. I certainly am, because I chose him as one of my impact players for this upcoming game. And without a Starla Tulele, not that we're going to miss him heavily, because we didn't have him all of last year, but he is still an impactful player. So with that potential, issue hanging over our heads, and having a Najee Harris with a new offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, could we see some struggles from the defense? Or are we well prepared, because we go against this type of offense every single day at practice? What do you think?
That's the thing too, is we see offenses like this. Our defense sees it every day, because I think as far as formations and types of plays, it's not too dissimilar from what Dable is running in Buffalo. But as far as kind of that trouble up front, maybe I'm not worried yet. And that's because Harrison Phillips is healthy, and Harrison Phillips was playing like an absolute beast in the preseason. So if he can bring that into the regular season, then I think I'm really looking forward to watching Harrison Phillips play. I really think he can make a big impact on the game. And we have to remember, they have 2 rookies on that offensive line. Their center, and I think one of their guards are both rookies. Could be a tackle. I think it's their one of their tackles is a rookie as well. So you got 2 rookies on that offensive line. We've got some rookies on our edges as well, but they're probably not going to see the field right away. Maybe Rousseau will get on there a little bit, but I don't know. I think just with the inexperience with that offensive line throughout, and how they also lost a couple pieces. They got Trey Turner in to replace Alejandro Villanueva. So it's a very different offensive line, and I think that's kind of the thing that we should be taking advantage of the most. But yeah, if Najee Harris can kind of make plays himself too, so tackling is going to be pretty big.
Clay, let me tell you something. You're getting a clap from my man Richard Rush, because he's feeling everything you're saying. And I'm gonna go further than that. And to lament your point, actually, that O-line isn't the same. You're absolutely right, because they've got 2 young guys on there. Apparently, there's only 1 returning veteran on that squad, and that 1 returning veteran is playing out of position right now. They got him shuffling all over the place. So the big asterisk that's going to be in this game is, can that line hold up for Roethlisberger? Now, there's not going to be a lot of dinking and dunking, right? But if he's got to air the ball out, that means he needs time. And if he doesn't have time, it's going to be a long day for Big Ben. I don't care how many, victories he's got under his belt. I know some people don't feel that, QB stats or QB victories are a statistic, but it matters when you have a guy like Big Ben. But if he's got no time to throw the ball, it's going to be very difficult for him to score a W. Now, Staying on this offensive side of the ball, we typically defend. We typically have trouble defending. What position would you say when there's that one position that we just always let these guys run loose? Do you know what position that is?
I mean, to me, what position we let them run loose? You're saying?
Right. We have a problem defending this offensive position.
I mean, it's either slot receiver or running back. It depends on the week, but slot receiver was the first one that came to mind for me.
All right, you know what? We're going to stay on that because to me, the slot receiver / tight end constantly in the slot is we always have problems, right? And they've got two pretty decent tight ends on that squad, so I have a feeling they're going to try to utilize both Eric Ebron and Patty Freiermuth in the slots to try to disrupt our defensive, I guess, pressures, right? To take it off. So the one way to get rid to mitigate the pass rush is to get rid of the ball quickly. So if we don't get on top of these tight ends, man, that could pose a problem for us. Now, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, my man Clay. When we're looking at the offensive side of the ball and what this offense is bringing, is there something that stands out to you that says, you know what, if we can take full advantage of X player or X scheme or one area of the offensive side of the ball, what stands out to you?
And this is for our offense now?
It's correct.
Yeah, so for that, I think it's taking advantage of every yard that the defense gives you. And that's kind of what I alluded to earlier about what Josh Allen was doing against Green Bay. And that's just most of that drive was not flashy at all. He was dropping back. If his first read was there, he was throwing to him. And luckily he's got a bunch of guys that can sit in zones really easily. You know, they can make really good cuts in man coverage. So sometimes he doesn't even have to look at his second read, which makes it easy for him. And if he sees a guy open and he throws him the ball right away, that's literally all we need to do. We could do that all game, guys. You know, Tom Brady made a career off doing that. He won a lot of games and is a really good quarterback because he just takes advantage of what the defense is going to give him. You know, the circumstances and the situations can change, but we already know that Josh can come in clutch when he needs to come in clutch. We know that he can throw that, you know, that 35-yard bomb over the middle in between cover two to a post route. Absolutely. So it's the little things in between now that if we can take advantage of those and just, you know, play that dink and dunk until that big play is there, that is a perfect offensive scheme. And then, you know, of course, I love Devin Singletary and what he's done this preseason. If he can be more efficient as well, then that's just going to be such a really, really tough offense to face off against.
Clay, you are nailing everything that I'm hitting your way. So I got to give you a little bit of props right now because you don't realize it, but I'm going to give you flowers right now because right now my man Scott Blakely is giving you big time flowers. And I'm going to let you read this. I want you to read this.
Thanks. Rico, I'm sure you know this, but Clay is such a good personality and knowledgeable. Love to hear him and his takes. Salute to you, Clay. You know what, Scott Blakely, thank you. Salute right back to you, man. I appreciate those kind words. That's really nice, man.
That is, let me tell you something, guys. Clay, you don't see Clay as often on with us, and that's something that's our fault. We should get him more often because this guy is so smooth on the mic. He doesn't realize it, but he's so smooth on the mic. No hesitation, and I love every bit of it. So Clay, salute to you. You deserve every bit of that. And I'm going to put you on the spot because now that you've gotten your flowers, I want you to smell them a little bit because I'm going to put you on the spot. Stephen A. I believe it was Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith was on, and I like Stephen A. Smith. That's my guy. But Stephen A. Smith was on there talking about 5 quarterbacks that he feels that are going to be really great this year, right? Pat Mahomes was one of them. Aaron Rodgers was another. He had, I think he had Dak Prescott. I think that Dak Prescott was one. Maybe Tom Brady was another. Then he had Mac Jones as a top 5. I mean, his 5 quarterbacks that are going to be really impactful or have something that's gonna be an effect change, if you will. I need you to explain something to me. When you have a guy like Josh Allen that's omitted off this list, and I tell you this is a big mistake. I don't know what Josh Allen. When you see Josh Allen and he's going into his 4th year, is there something this guy cannot do?
No, honestly, we've seen him do it all at this point. We've seen him, you know, rolling left was something that he worked on. He worked on in breaking routes, which is, you know, something that he saw as a weakness, but I think he did okay on in-breaking routes. I don't think he did anything bad with it, necessarily. So the fact that he has gotten to the point now where he doesn't have to work on things that he struggles with. He has to work on things that he's not perfect at. So he's gotten to that point where the weaknesses are so small that every time he improves, he's just going to get closer and closer to the perfection that he's looking for. And he really can do it all. He can make any throw on the field. He's maybe one of 3 quarterbacks in the league that can do it.
100%.
And then, he's getting smarter too. And that's the thing is when you're able to understand your offense. And we saw, recently of him saying when he came into the league, he was a people pleaser, but now if he doesn't love it, he's not going to do it. So, and that's something too, where you have confidence in the plays that you run. And, if there's a play that you're not confident in, why would you run it? So the confidence that he's got, the chemistry that he's got with the team and with Brian Dable, I mean, it's just, he's in such a good position right now, and to leave him off a list like that for a guy like Mac Jones,
ludicrous.
He's absolutely trying to get under the skin of Bills Mafia. Absolutely 100%. That's how you get the views. Get under the skin of Bills Mafia.
That is, and to lament what my man Scott Blakely said, he actually has the Patriots winning the division. I don't understand and I love Stephen A. Smith. He's one of the best in the business. But when you have takes like this and I get it. You believe in Mac Jones. I get that. But you can't believe in Mac Jones over a guy that was top 5 in votes for MVP. And you can't have a guy that's destined to win the whole damn thing and potentially win the damn Super Bowl. You have Mac Jones, a rookie that's going to go face against. I just don't understand takes like that. But there's a whole bunch of hot takes out there. And I'm not for it. Love Stephen A., but that's some trash. That's some big time trash. So Absolutely. Let's flip the script. Let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. Now, you saw that we made some crucial cuts. We've traded Bam Johnson because we just had too much depth on this defensive side of the ball. But is there a player on this defense that not a lot of people are talking about, or maybe the right amount of people are talking about this player, but you feel that will be an impact to this defense in this game coming up week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, in this game specifically, Tremaine Edmonds is going to play a huge role in being able to defend this, and that's because with the use of motions and formation switches and play action, he's the guy that's got to be able to keep everything organized and make sure that everything's going well. Now, luckily, it's a home game, and there won't be, it is a home game, so it's going to be loud. So yes. He's got to do all this while it's this is something that they didn't have to do last year at all. So he's got to make sure that he's communicating with his team, making sure everyone's in the right place and adjusting properly. Because if you don't adjust to these formations and these switches fast enough, then you're going to get caught with your pants down, and they're going to get a good play on you. So he's definitely the one that needs to be there to really lead that defense and keep everyone in place. And then he himself also has to make sure that he stays disciplined as well, because they're really going to try to get him, kind of out of position or covering a guy that he shouldn't be on. So he's going to be a huge part. And, Harrison Phillips, I mentioned him earlier. Yep. I'm just becoming a huge Harrison Phillips fan based on what I saw in the preseason. So if he can carry that kind of momentum into the regular season, he's going to be a beast. And, we might forget about this star if he's injured for too much longer and Phillips plays the way he did.
You know what? You mentioned Harrison Phillips and you have a lot of confidence in Harrison Phillips. I don't know. And that's not because I think he's not a capable player. It's not about that at all. I think coming out of Stanford, very good player, great technique, played in a position of 3 tech. Now he's put some weight on. Now he's playing in that 1 technique. You really feel that confident in him to take over and be that guy?
I absolutely do. And it wouldn't be if I hadn't seen what I saw in the preseason, I wouldn't be confident, because it's in the offseason, I wasn't confident that he would be able to be that guy. But when he came out and what he showed in the preseason was explosiveness, power, grit, determination, like all those things that you want from your 1 tech, to just be that gritty guy that's going to, bear crawl his way into the middle of the pile and get running back. That's what he turned into in this preseason. So that's the kind of guy that I want to see in the regular season as well.
Clay, you got me excited for Harrison Phillips, man.
I'm excited myself, man. I really am excited to see him play.
Okay, so we're going to switch gears completely. Now, I know you saw it. It was all over the place. I even I got a chance to go on a pod today to speak on this matter. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, but we had a competition today to see who out of the NFL is one of the best fan bases in the NFL. And as of yesterday, we were leading easily, as we should. And then this morning, we woke up to the Steelers having almost 20,000 votes in a matter of 10 minutes. What? So I was made aware of this, and I was like, and it with all the confidence in the world, I said, don't even worry about it. The minute we start putting out there and retweeting and getting out there, Bills Mafia will come through, and it's a wrap. And we surely did. Here's the deal. We are facing the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns won this Fox fan base 2 years ago. We won it last year. I need you to say it with your chest. Why does the Bills fan base deserve to be the number one fan base this year again?
You know, it's funny too, because if there's anyone that I would like us to be facing in the final round, it's the Cleveland Browns.
I agree.
But it's because the two fan bases are so similar, but the Bills have been so close to glory. You know, the four falls, and then nothing materialized from that group of guys, and they all kind of slowly dissipated away. And then it was 2 decades of just really, really terrible football.
Yes.
Just really not good. And that's what I grew up in. I grew up in this era of really bad football, and a lot of other other Bills fans did too. And, you know, for us to be able to, for us to be able to go through all that and still come with the same amount of passion every year, even when the team was terrible, when we had Dick Duran as the head coach and we had Mike Mularkey as the head coach, we're always saying, you know what, it could be us this year. It could be us this year. We still believed, even when we knew the team wasn't any good and that the team wasn't going to do anything, but we had that belief that maybe it'll happen. And, just to be able to do that, to have that commitment throughout that entire time, I think we deserve it. And the passion that we have for football, it runs the city. You know, go Bills is a salutation. It's see you later, go Bills. You know, that's just it's a way of life in Buffalo, and that's why I think we deserve it, just because it is Buffalo. It encapsulates the entire city.
Listen, man, I get Clay's on fire, man. I'm getting him 2 horns today. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna agree with everything you said, and I tried to be as clear as possible to. I believe it was getting the name of the pod today, but he asked me, like, why do you guys deserve it? Like, why is it that the Bills should win it again? I'm like, listen, man, you have to understand, like you said, 2 decades of looking up from the bottom of the freaking AFC bottom feed, right? Watching Miami Dolphins have success, even the Jets had success, and we're sitting here with Trent Edwards, with freaking Todd Collins, with freaking give me another one. Give me 2 more if you want to name
I don't know. We got Jeff Toole played a couple of games.
EJ Manuel,
I don't know. Kelly Holcomb. That was a good one. That's for a little bit there.
We've had our fair share of bad quarterbacks. We've had our fair share. I mean, we were starting out with Keith Ellison as one of our damn linebackers, Cole Simpson as one of our freaking safeties. Like, for crying out loud, we had some bad players on this team. Now that we are where we are, we deserve every bit of this. We deserve every bit of this. So the fact that we're going up against the Browns, and the Browns have had some misfortune as well, we got to give them that. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is it is our turn. It's our turn. It's our time. Let us win this little fan championship, and then we go get the real championship, which is the Lombardi. So I had to bring that up because it's just the Steelers tried it. They tried it.
And there's one more thing too about Bills Mafia that makes the fan base so special, is that they're so good at turning a negative into a positive, or turning a positive into a bigger positive. Where, with Andy Dalton, and we donated to his charities, and with Josh Allen, and we donated to his charity. I feel like anytime something really good happens or really bad happens, we're like, you know what, let's donate to charity. And that's just, who does that? It's crazy that those have been able to been organized on multiple occasions and raise a ton of money. So just an added layer.
That's a great point. Turning a negative into a positive, right? Or a positive into a positive, like you said. So shout out to the Bills Mafia, man. This is the best fan base ever. There is no other. And that's just us being us. Wait till you come to a Bills game and we're rocking. That's a whole different atmosphere, right? And I'm sad that I can't go to any Bills games this year, but golly, are you going to any this year?
Oh, I'm going to all of them. Except the only one I'm going to miss is Washington football team. I'll be at every other home game.
There you go, my man. Clay, season ticket holder?
Yeah.
My man. John DeMarchi comes in with a super chat. We appreciate that super chat, Johnny. He goes, while the Bills were in the wilderness, Cleveland had LBJ winning titles, plus Indians greats. That's right. Great Indians like Jim Thome, Manny Ramirez, Alomar, Lofton. Come on, Cleveland, and had Belichick and Saban, 1994 staff too. Yo, you are not wrong. He is not wrong. Listen, Cleveland is a good place to have sports. They have LeBron. You know what I mean? The witness got him a championship. It's now Buffalo's turn. That's it. We just got to make it happen, man.
Yeah,
I had to switch gears on you.
I liked it. Thank you.
Now I will mention this. I need to bring this up while I read Mr. Scott Blakely's comment. He says, "Yo, count the Cleveland fans that are the visiting stadiums. Bills take over. Case closed." That's another thing, man. Mm-hmm. We travel extremely well.
Yeah.
Anywhere we go, we here. You feel me?
It's insane.
That exactly. Salute to my man, Scott Blakely. Now, I was asked about something. This is off topic completely, and I need you to, and I hope I did it justice. And you're a Buffalo guy. I mean, you're from if not Buffalo, you're from the Rochester area. I'm not sure. Are you from Buffalo?
I'm from the southern tier, but my dad's from Niagara Falls, so I spent a decent amount of time up this way, and I went to college not far.
There you go. All right, so hear me out. So I was asked about what to expect at tailgates and what's so good about a Buffalo tailgate and this, that, and the third. And he says, what can you expect to see in terms of food? What are people cooking? What are people doing? And I mean, all the things that you do, the potato salads, the macaroni salads, the freaking pulled pork, and this, that, and the third, all that stuff. Then I mentioned a garbage plate. Now, I'm not familiar with garbage plates. I was only told about a garbage plate. Have you had a garbage plate?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've had many in my lifetime.
Can you explain to me exactly what the garbage plate is?
So the garbage plate, for those who don't know, it's it's everything in the kitchen sink. So the base of it is home fries, usually deep fried home fries. So you got a nice crispy on the outside, and then mac salad. So it's a partition plate. You got half mac salad, half home fries, and then you take either hot dogs or burgers, no buns. You toss them right on top of those, and then a meat sauce on top. And then you got to do a little bit of raw onion and a little bit of mustard and sometimes some ketchup on top too, just a little bit of drizzle of both. And it's amazing. It really should not be as good as it is, but it's just really good. And I can't explain why.
Can we name it something else other than a garbage plate, or is it?
I don't know. I think it's just kind of iconic at this point. It's like what do we got? What do we got over in the cupboard here? Let's just throw it all on one plate. It's worth. We could throw it away, or we could put it on the plate. So I kind of like it. It definitely does not sound appealing at all. But yeah, I think that's its name, and it's going to stick now.
I'm not trying to stay on food, but I have to bring this up as well. I've had this. I brought this up on our show on the Rico Report before, and beef on weck doesn't sound appealing at all to me. It doesn't sound appealing. Is beef on weck? Am I even saying that beef on weck? Is that good?
I like beef on weck. Yeah, I mean it's
not convincing. That doesn't sound convincing.
Well, the thing is, I don't really like horseradish, and like that's a traditional thing that you put on a beef on weck, and it's just not really my thing. I don't like things that overpower the food that I'm eating, and that's what horseradish does to me. So I am not a huge fan of the horseradish, but I mean, other than that, it's roast beef on a bun that has flavor. So how can you go wrong with that?
It's that simple. You actually simplified it. It's roast beef on a bun that has flavor.
Yeah,
none. Beef on weck, and I think you got to dip it in the au jus.
I don't know, dude. I don't know if I dip it usually. Honestly, I haven't had that many beef on wecks in my life. I'm more of a wings guy, but I do enjoy a good beef on weck every once in a while as well.
Wet wing or dry wing?
Definitely like a dry rub versus like a sauce. Oh, definitely a sauce. I mean, there were a couple places that we tried that did both, where it was like a dry rub and then they put it in sauce, and that was really, really good. Really like complex flavors going on in there. So, but yeah, definitely got to get them a little bit saucy.
Would you agree with this statement? The wetter, the better.
The wetter, the better. I wouldn't agree with that. I would to an extent, but there's a point where it's like this wing is like swimming right now, and that's a little bit too much.
I got you. My man Mark Malone says garbage plate is absolutely amazing. Hot dogs or hamburgers with meat sauce with macaroni salad.
Mhm.
All right, man. So I guess once I make my way back to Buffalo, we're gonna jump on this garbage plate. And if you see me eating the garbage plate, it's because I gotta try it. It's not because I love it. Oh, anybody got a garbage plate? No, I gotta try it. So we're gonna flip it back to I had to take a break off of the football chat. Sometimes people like to kind of deviate, go back and forth, right?
Mhm,
Get to
mhm.
know your co-host, right? It's not just about football all the time, right? We got to
Right.
talk about other things that surround Buffalo and these Buffalo Bills. Now, let's bring it back. We got to bring it back. So I asked you earlier, anything that concerns you when we're facing this Pittsburgh Steelers team, and I'm gonna let you think on that, and I'm gonna grab this super chat real quick, and then we'll jump into it. My man Richard Kalen says, excited for Sunday. Oh yes, we are definitely excited for Sunday, and we're gonna get things started Thursday with the Tampa Dallas game, a team that I dislike very much in Dallas Cowboys, and a quarterback that I used to dislike a lot because it was just a lot of respect. Now, Tom Brady, before we even get to back to Bills, let's just think on this. Tom Brady is actually enjoyable to watch. What are your thoughts on Tom Brady?
He's insufferably likable. It's like, I really would love to not like him. But he is, he's clever. I don't know if he's got like really good publicists and PR people, or if he's actually just funny and knows how to use social media correctly. But he's a really charming guy just in general. It's hard not to like him, but after what he did to my childhood, it's really, really hard to forgive him for that. So I still am like somewhat resentful, and kind of, smile in the background a little bit, but
I hear you.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
It's really hard, man. When I see Tom Brady and I'm liking his post, I even have it where he's one of my tags. Anything Tom Brady does, like, what's he talking about? Oh, that's so good. Like, retweet that. He even had a gem. He's saying these refs are killing the game for the offensive side of the players. And what he's pretty much saying is these refs are saving the mistakes that these offenses are making, and they're repaying them by flagging the defense. Stop. In his words, he's pretty much saying, refs, F off already. Let us play ball. You're talking to a guy that was playing football in the 90s. I can say that. You know what I'm saying? In the 90s. And now I'm in 2021 still playing, and you guys are messing this game up, man. Let us play, for crying out loud. And then he's just got these funny little things that he does. One thing that I look forward to is when after he wins, I don't know if you guys, if you remember this, when he wins and he's walking out of the stadium and he goes, hey, we just won a big one today, and next we're going to Buffalo. See you there. And he puts a little hip-hop music in the background. I'm just like, oh shit. It gets me hype. But I hate him. But it gets me hype at the same time. What a guy. What a guy, Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's tough. And it's because he's so likable, so nice too. It's like, come on, man. And he doesn't age either. I don't know if the guy's gotten plastic surgery. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but
Listen, I'm gonna agree with you. Almond Mathis, Rico, you're only saying that because Brady isn't in our conference or division anymore. Part of it is that. Part of it is that because if he was doing all those things, he's still in New England, I would hate it. I would hate every bit of it. But the fact that he's away from the Bills and he's not affecting us in any way until we see him maybe in the Super Bowl, I'm going to enjoy it the rest of Tom Brady's career. I actually want him to keep playing as long as he can. I was waiting for him to retire. Get the F out. Now I'm like, yo, keep going. If you can keep going to 50, golly, that'll be something else, man. I'll tell you. We got to give a shout out to my man John DeMarchi. He says, regarding Brady trolling Pats, the enemy of the enemy is my friend. Oh, you absolutely know it, man. And Bill Belichick is just can't stand any of it. I'm sure of it.
I mean, he drafted a Tom Brady lookalike, basically. That's what Mac Jones is. He's not going to do anything flashy. He'll get you 5 yards. He'll get you 10 yards. That's kind of what Brady was for a long time as well.
I bet it is. And we'll touch on the New England Patriots. We'll talk on the Miami Dolphins and the Jets a little bit. But these Steelers, does anything concern you with these Steelers?
To me, it's the offensive skill position players that are the biggest concern. I mean, a lot of the the rest of the team doesn't worry me too much. I think the defense is going to be good, but I think it's, we'll be able to work through them just fine. I'm not too worried about that. But I think it could potentially turn into a shootout depending on what Matt Canada's offense looks like and how well he uses those skill position players, because they're really good. They have 4 really, really good athletes in those skill position players. Chase Claypool is big, fast, strong. And then you've got Deontay Johnson, who's probably the best athlete on the team. He dropped some passes last season, but he's a really, really good athlete. And if used correctly, and if he starts, reducing those drops, he can be a really scary wide receiver. And then you've got Juju, who, he's more famous for dancing on TikTok, but he's still a good player. I don't know if he's the best wide receiver on that team. I think Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson are really good as well. But and then Najee Harris, who's just a freak, man. He's such a good athlete. He can hurdle over a dude that's 6'2", standing straight up. So the ability of those guys could really make or break a game if they get the opportunity to do that. And so that's kind of my biggest concern is containing those guys and making sure that they don't bust out a huge play.
Okay, see, and I'm with you. And honestly, I have so much confidence in our defense that, not that it doesn't worry me, those skill position players. I just think that we match up well against those skill position players, and I think we'll do well. The I guess my concern somewhat is the return of Devin Bush, number one, because that boy just knifes through. He's a great anticipator. He can tackle. He's just that special. We didn't have him all of last year. I think he was hurt week 5, and then we never saw him again. So he's returning. So I'm sure he's got a lot of motivation behind the season. And the biggest question mark is TJ Watt. Yeah. TJ Watt, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Are they messing with his money? I've been listening to Steelers players, and it's just so comical to hear Steelers players, because Bills fans, and we've seen us overpay grossly to players that had no business deserving money. Yep. Ryan Fitzpatrick, when you got that 59, I mean, at the time, 59, almost $60 million contract, we're like, whoa, okay, that's a lot of money. We paid big money to Dockery, lineman Dockery. We paid him big, huge money. Why? Right? We paid a lot of money to all players, and we're like, who cares? We just need something that's going to make us relevant.
Yeah.
These Steelers fans are like, fam, why are we not paying this team? And you have other fans that are saying, guys, we've gone to all those Super Bowls because we didn't pay. We make sure that we hone in on our young guys and we make them get to where we need to get this team. And so right now there's people that are back and forth with a guy as young as TJ Watt. Is he deserving of this money that he's asking for, or is it too soon?
I mean, you'd have to say he's worth it. I mean, he was the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year last year. He's a really, really good player, very skilled. I mean, he's one of those guys where he's in the top 5 for defensive ends. And when it's a position, it's the second highest paid position in the league. I mean, it's kind of, and you've got a top 5 guy at that position, you might have to pay him just because, obviously negotiate down. And it's a terrible year to be a free agent just because of the cap space. So he kind of got screwed there. But I mean, you got to pay him. I think that's really the only option. If someone else will pay him, it's probably not going to be a good team. If he goes and gets paid somewhere else, I can't imagine he'd be going to, a real contender or anything like that. But it's really tough with a position like that and the skill that he has. I don't know if there's anything that you can really have as negotiation leverage for something like that.
It's a tough one, man. When these guys outplay their contract and they feel they need to get paid, it puts the management in a tough bind. We're lucky that we have a really good GM that can foresee the future a little bit and tell these guys patience. You'll get what you get. Just rock with us, stay with us, be patient. We'll make things work out. So when you look at this concern, I'm looking at TJ Watt, I'm looking at Devin Bush on the defensive side of the ball. That's where I kind of like, I'm not too sure. Now, I like your concerns because that offensive firepower coming off the Steelers is going to be a challenge. So we're going to see how we play against that. Now, let's flip it. Let's go to the Bills. You're looking at the Bills offense. You're looking at the Bills defense, special teams. Is there something that stands out to you that is concerning? That you're like, I'm not sure about this, man.
Yeah, I mean, on the offense, it's It's still the line for me.
Thank you very much.
And that's just because first of all, our tackles didn't play great in the preseason. I know as Daryl Johnson, he got his first action against the Packers there, so maybe he was just getting his feet wet, but he didn't look great against the Packers, and those were not against guys that are crazy players. They're not like top 10 pass rushers. So I don't know. It's the guards are still concerning to me. Those are the biggest concern. Cody Ford, I mean, he had a pretty good preseason, but he's still mostly a question mark on how well he's able to do at the guard position. And John Feliciano, I think, is the weakest link of the bunch. I know that he's a fan favorite. I know people like John Feliciano. I like John Feliciano, as a person and as a personality. He's a really fun guy, and I like him and the relationship he has with Josh, but he is the weakest link on that offensive line. And I was surprised we re-signed him, honestly, because I thought we would maybe be able to find someone better at the same price. So I can't say that I'm mad about it. He's in the same system. At least he knows that. And hopefully he plays better. He was coming off an injury. So maybe the strength wasn't there for last season, if we're trying to make excuses for him. But those guard positions still worry me a little bit. And I think the tackles will get there. Dawkins is coming off COVID, so he's probably going to maybe take a game or two to get to full 100%. But I think Darrell Williams was the better tackle in pass pro last year, in my opinion. So I'm not really too worried about that. But yeah, those guards really need to make sure that they're playing well, or the run game could fall apart and we'd become one-dimensional like we were last year.
Oh, Clay, Mr. Troya. Correct. Listen, the line to me, I said it early in the offseason. I said, guys, if the run game doesn't change, the O-line's got to change. And we went around and messed around and brought everybody back the same, right? Mm-hmm. So are we to anticipate anything different? Not a whole lot. And you nailed it, man. Cody Ford still is a big question mark to me. I still have him as a borderline bust, and I'm not calling him bust, but we drafted him in the second round, and this is a crucial year. We need to see him show us why we drafted him in the second round. And that's what I'm looking for. So if he's going to be that mauler of a lineman, show it to us. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, our bread and butter is throwing the rock. Yeah. So you got to protect that man, number 17 back there. John Feliciano, like you, I was like, okay, we brought him back. I understood why. They want continuity. That was one thing that we lacked last year. There was a whole bunch of revolving doors of Ike Butker and Brian Winters and a bunch of just players that just didn't have any business being on the field. So hopefully this year we come together. We got Darrell Williams. We got Deion Dawkson come back from COVID. I'm hoping that he gets back to 100%, like you said. Cody Ford, show us what you're about. My man, I think was it my man Bobby was like, okay, he's not playing so bad in the offseason. He hasn't done so bad in preseason. So I'm hoping that there's something that brings us forward. Mitch Morrison's coming back. We hope that he stays healthy. And then Feliciano. So continuity is the key game here. I see what the management has done. I'm hoping that it really comes together and binds, and we just have a season that is historic. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Well, and now, so you were a running back when you played, correct?
Absolutely, sir. Don't get me started, man. Don't do it.
I got a question for you then.
Yes, sir.
Continuity with an offensive line, what does that do for your running back, especially in a zone run kind of a scheme where a lot of what you're doing is reading your linemen? So does having that continuity with an offensive line be like, you know what, I kind of know when my guy's shoulders are like this, or his feet are like this, I know where he's going to go or where he's going to take his guy. Does that help you out?
Absolutely, it knows, because you know what pulling guard, you know that he's not fleet of foot. So you know you gotta have patience. If you know that your lineman is kind of quick, so you want to get behind him a little bit so you can kind of almost hide behind your lineman. So now you're reading what side you want to take. So continuity does make sense for a running back, knowing what your guys are capable of doing. Okay, I know that he is not great at pass blocking. So you know what? I'm gonna help him on a chip a little bit. Okay, I know he's got that, so I can now release if I need to. So a lot of those things do make sense. Right. Yeah. You got me in my bag right now. I'm excited.
I know. I knew that was going to get you all riled up.
You're a bastard. So, but yeah, it does make a lot of sense. But I mean, listen, when you have a guy like Devin Singletary that is just elite with his vision, he's elite at anticipation, knowing what a defender is going to do. He can stop on a dime. That's a huge added element to the running back position. And then you have a big bruiser back with speed, might I add, in Zach Moss. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys can do healthy this year, behind a line that's coming back full health. So hopefully we can make these things happen. And our first test will be against a very well-coached team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's going to be fun to see how this plays out. Watching film, because you're the film guru. Watching film, and I don't know how much film you've watched on the Pittsburgh Steelers leading up to this game. Where is it that this offense can take full advantage? Is it in the air? Is it going to be on the ground? Is it going to be isolating one player? What are your thoughts on the advantage that we can take against the Pittsburgh Steelers this week?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd have to say it's probably going to be in the air, and that's just because it plays into our strengths as well. But Tuitt is also on the injured reserve at the moment, so the inside of that offensive or that defensive line might be able to open up a little bit easier. Maybe if we get some kind of some zone reads that are going through the middle out of shotgun, things like that might be able to open up a little bit better. It might make it a little easier for those guards to chip and go to the next level, or the center, if he's going to the next level, might make that a little bit easier with that with him out. But the Steelers lost a couple of their cornerbacks. I mean, they lost Mike Hilton and Steven Nelson both. So, and they didn't really, I mean, did they get any? I don't think they got anyone back at that position really to fill in for that. So they're just kind of going with what they got. And I don't know if that's going to be good enough. So I really think that if there's anywhere to take advantage of, it's that lack of cornerback depth. And we have the wide receiver depth. We could put 4 wide receivers out there and it's like, do you have the guys to cover that? I don't know if you do. So I definitely think that's probably the biggest thing to take advantage of is that lack of cornerback depth.
Now, that lack of cornerback depth is kind of blanketed by a great safety, and that's Minka Fitzpatrick.
That's very true.
And I brought this up yesterday on my show, and if I was going to be concerned on this defense, and I felt that this was going to be one of those impact players on this team, and that is Minka Fitzpatrick. So the deficiencies, of these corners can almost be masked by
proficiencies.
Yes, you feel me? Scheming Fitzpatrick, where he's just like almost like a Troy Polamalu. You gotta know where he's at, because if you get caught lacking and slipping, that's the interception. He's got 11 interceptions in his short career. And I think he's got 2 or 3 pick sixes already. So we've got to just make sure that we know exactly where these playmakers are, and we'll go from there. When it comes to this game, are you big on predictions, score predictions?
I don't, I don't really care either way. I mean, I could give my score prediction. It basically, what I'm telling you is how I think the game's going to go from from a general scheme perspective. Is like, do I think it's going to be close? Do I think it's going to be high scoring, low scoring? So I don't mind score predictions like that.
Okay. So we're not going to go like, give me the score, what this is. Is this going to be a very big defensive battle, or is this going to be, you better hold on to your seats, man. There's going to be points scored left, right, and center?
Honestly, I think it's going to be more toward higher scoring. And that's just because I have a lot of faith in the Bills offense to be able to move the ball on the Steelers defense, maybe more than I should, maybe more confidence than I should. And you know what? It is the first game of the season too. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how they come out and how polished that offense really is and how polished those defenses really are. Usually early in the season, it's the defense that'll do better because the offense has more preparation, planning, and anticipation than the defense does, where they're most of the time just kind of reacting to the play. So it really could go either way, because I think the Bills defense is kind of an unknown on just how good they're going to be. Yep. We know that the Steelers can play good defense, but the Bills offense is also crazy. And then Matt Canada is a question mark. What's he going to be able to do with that offense? Can he get them moving down the field? I think that's kind of what's so exciting about this is there's a question mark with the Bills defense and there's a question mark with the Steelers offense. We know what we're getting with the other two sides of the ball, and that's going to be a good competition too. So I think it's going to be really kind of cool to see how it plays out.
It is going to be fun. I got to give a shout out to my man, Scott Blake. He says, I have a strange feeling after the Bills air it out and get up by 14, run kicks in with some play action and keep them honest. No one respects our running. Think it will surprise them. I could, you know what? Here's the thing. I see this as more of a defensive game, truth be told. And it's not because of lack of offense. I think we're just going to struggle. Both sides will struggle to get a rhythm, because both defenses are pretty solid. So a rhythm is always something. If you can get into a rhythm, we've seen Josh Allen get into rhythm and he's nearly unstoppable. So if we can get into a rhythm, I think this is going to be more of a defensive game It's just whoever makes the biggest play on defense is what happens. I mean, look at last year we played the Steelers. What happened? It was a big play on defense. Pick six. What turned this whole game around. So high scoring. I don't know if I see it high scoring. This team is too well coached on both sides of the ball. So I see this as a low scoring game. It's just going to be who makes the biggest play on the defensive side of the ball. I went completely opposite from your end, but
that makes sense too, though. Yeah,
that's the thing. Either or can happen. Leslie Frazier made a comment today, and I think he was asked about a breakout player this year and who he feels is going to be a breakout player. And he named a player that I didn't anticipate to hear him say this player. And it was Mr. Ed Oliver. And my man Samuel Harris is Ed Oliver has to play this year. Oh, yeah, he's going to play this year. Don't you get me wrong on that. But can you see a big year from Ed Oliver, or is it going to be somebody else on that line that has that impact big year?
I could definitely see a big year from Oliver, and that's just because he's got Star back. Phillips is playing hopefully at a different level, and there's some of the flashes that we've seen little flashes here and there from Ed Oliver, but this preseason, when going through that Packers game, it was funny because I saw a play early on where he kind of got trampled over and kind of pancaked a little bit, and I was like, oh, is this going to be a bad game from Ed Oliver? So I kept a close eye on him for the rest of the game, and he just dominated most of the time. I mean, there's sometimes when there was one play that it was the Micah Hyde interception.
Yep.
It was an incredible play, and he caused the entire thing to happen. Everything that happened on that play, besides actually Micah catching the ball in the end zone, was pretty much on Ed Oliver. He blew up the center, forced him to step on his quarterback's foot. And so as he's rolling out, he's off balance, and then the pressure is able to get into his face, and he has to just throw up a prayer ball, and Micah Hyde intercepts it. I mean, the way that he is able to, on some plays, just completely dominate the guy that's in front of him is so impressive. And that the thing is it's not consistent. He'll have a couple of plays where it's like, what the hell was that, man? You just got pancaked. But then he'll have those plays again where it's just like, oh my God, he's like possessed.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I don't want to say he's undersized, but what is he, like 6 feet? Just 6 feet, maybe 6'1"?
Yeah, like 6'1", I think, maybe
6'1", 280. Maybe he's picked up a little weight. I don't know. So I don't want to call him undersized, but to the average defensive tackle, where they had him playing 1 tech, 3 tech, he's usually undersized. But John Randall was very undersized as well, and John Randall was a menace. So I look to see a lot of good things from Ed Oliver, and if he's that breakout player this year, I will take it every single day.
Absolutely.
Jeff King comes in with a comment for us, jumping in late here, folks. Good to see you all. This is the beginning this week. This is where it starts, where the Bills say we are here for our due and proper. And we're here to take it. Go Bills. Salute to my guy, Jeff King. Salute to Jeff King's father, Ormy. What's going on, Ormy? I see you, my man. So we're going to flip it a little bit. And we've been talking about the AFC. We have a lot of young quarterbacks in this division. You got Tua. His teammates are really applauding his leadership. He's grown since last year. So we'll see what happens with the Miami Dolphins. I think they're well coached over there with Brian Flores. Then we move over to New England Patriots. They've paid a boatload of money on that defense. They really want to be a team that is not disrespected, right? They've been top of the AFC East for so damn long. So they paid to really out of character, if you will, because Belichick doesn't pay it for that. He doesn't pay for that stuff, right? No. He doesn't. So it's totally out of character. And they draft their quarterback in Mac Jones and release Cam Newton. Let's talk on that a little bit. And last but not least, you've got the young kid over there with the Jets. What's his name? I'm thinking I'm losing my mind.
Zach Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, Zach Wilson. So what are your thoughts on this AFC East? Is it going to play out the same way it played out last year where we just dominate and we go 6-0?
I don't know if we'll go 6-0. I think there might be one game, and if it's going to be to anyone, it's probably going to be to the Patriots. Just because Belichick knows how to coach a defense, and he's very smart. And when it comes down to a coaching battle, Dable versus Belichick is fun to watch. But Dable kicked ass last year.
Yes, he
so Belichick's going to come back with a vengeance.
Absolutely.
And he's gonna want a little bit more. And he's got his guys healthy. He's got some guys back that opted out last year. And like you said, they paid some guys. So I think the defense is going to be solid. It is solid enough to at least get them, a winning record this season.
Okay.
And I think maybe we drop one of those games.
You do?
I think maybe. That's the thing is, on a game-to-game basis, we almost lost to the Patriots the first time we played.
We should have lost that game.
Exactly. So, that's the thing is, and that was with Cam Newton at quarterback. So that's the thing is, on a game-to-game basis, things happen and that are just, kind of random or unlucky. So, yeah, I don't know. But out of the three quarterbacks, I do think Zach Wilson's going to be the best one, just because of the tools that he has, and I think he's probably got a good mentality too. I don't know, but he reminds me, he's that kind of raw prospect where I think he's got the ability to make himself a better quarterback. Coaching's going to be a big part of that. I know, Saleh is a defensive mind. Who they got in there? LaFleur. They got in there. So one of the LaFleur brothers. I think they got one of the LaFleur brothers as the OC there, but it's going to come down a lot to that and how his development goes. But he's really athletic. He's very talented. He can make a lot of the throws, maybe not quite to the level of Allen, Rodgers, Mahomes, but he can make a lot of those throws that'll kind of open your eyes a little bit. So
you're high on Zach Wilson.
He's a good quarterback. He's a great athlete. So I'm not saying that he's going to turn into something amazing, but he has the tools and the flashes kind of that we saw from Josh Allen, who I know is the exception and not the rule, but he's got the tools.
And here, I'm going to put this out there too, because when I see the play of Zach Wilson, he gives you promise. If you're a Jets fan, you got to look at this guy and be like, okay, I don't anticipate that we're going to be, competing heavily, but we will definitely be, we're definitely not going to lay down. And we have a guy in Zach Wilson that's going to help us learn along the way. And they've got some good weapons. I really like Steve Crowder that's on that team. Like he gives them an opportunity every single time. I think they got that Cortland Sutton over there.
Corey Davis.
Excuse me, Corey Davis. I get those two and stuff. Corey Davis and Mims is out there. So they've got some teams, they got some squad out there.
I think Corey Davis is a fantasy sleeper, honestly, because I feel like those guys are going to develop some chemistry, and that's probably going to be his go-to guy. Because I think Mims is dropping down a little bit. Corey Davis could be a number one wide receiver for that team. Elijah Moore, that's right. I forgot about him. He's going to be good too.
So hear me out, because this is how we're going to end our segment. And you didn't even know you did it. That's why you got the applause and the horn last time, because you said the F word, fantasy. Everybody's talking fantasy right now, because if you haven't done your draft yet, today's the day to do. I mean, tonight was the night to do your draft, or early afternoon for tomorrow, and that's even late for me. So, are you partaking in any fantasy this year?
Yes, so I'm in. We have a dynasty league that I'm in. I went with an interesting strategy. I traded away. I traded away Lamar Jackson for the number one pick, and I already had the third pick. So I drafted Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance. So I'm waiting for one of those guys to pan out. The bench gives you points, so both of those guys can get me points, and I'm fine with that. But the big thing is salary cap is a thing in this league. So if I have two guys that are good players on rookie deals, I can spend all my money on skill positions. So that's kind of my strategy at the moment for that league. We'll see how it goes. I'm not planning to be super competitive this season. Next season, I think I'm going to get there. So, yeah.
Did you believe that much in Trevor Lawrence that you traded away Lamar Jackson?
Not so much that I didn't also draft Trey Lance, because one of them's got to be good, right?
He's got to pan out.
I do think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a good quarterback, though. I mean, probably not under Urban Meyer. I don't think he's going to last very long down there. But I do think that he can be a successful quarterback in the NFL, just because he's another one of those guys where he's smart as hell. He's huge. He's athletic. He can make every throw. He's one of those guys where it's you put him in a good situation and he'll win you football games.
So you didn't want anything to do with Justin Fields?
Yeah, I was really, really torn between Trey Lance and Justin Fields, because honestly, I kind of regretted it when I took Trey Lance and not Justin Fields, because I do think that Justin Fields is going to be a really, really good quarterback, man. He's such a good athlete, and he's just a baller.
So what does your team do you know by heart what your team looks like?
Not by heart. I mean, I'm thin at running back. I got Mike Davis as my number 2 running back. So that's a little, actually, no, I think he's number 3. But I'm thin at running back. My wide receivers are good. I got Scary Terry as my number 1. And then Robert Woods I got. Pierre has been trying to get me to trade him Darnell Mooney for so long now, and it's not going to happen because I think he's going to break out. So my team's it's looking okay. What'd you say?
Tell Pierre to back off because sometimes he gets in this way of trying to give you nonsense and BS trades. And you're like, yo, keep your shit.
No, he's been trying really hard. He's really trying to get at Mooney specifically, and I'm like, I am not getting rid of Mooney.
As you should. So yeah. I need your take here. I had an interesting strategy myself for my draft team. I like my team, but we're in a 14-team league. It's a PPR league. That's a lot of players.
That's a big league, yeah.
That's a big league. So a lot of people are like, well, your team. But listen, when you're drafting with 14 other dudes that know what they're doing and what they're talking about, you gotta draft with strategy. So I went with youth on my side. So I need you. I don't know if you can see this properly. I need you to take a look at this roster here. So my quarterback is Josh Allen. I've got Gibson as my running back. So I was the 14, and plus on top of that, I was drafting number 14. So I snaked back. Yeah, I know, right? So I had no choice. My first pick, Josh Allen.
Yeah,
I need someone that's dual threat that can give me passing yards and rushing yards. So Gibson, Gordon, Waddle, excuse me, Elijah Moore. I think he's gonna have a big year. Gronkowski, he's younger. He's healthier. He's got less injuries, and I think he's going into a second year with Tom Brady with a new team. I think he's gonna be great. I took a chance on Devin Singletary. I wasn't sure.
I mean, I think that's a good guy to take a chance on from what he showed us. You know, whether or not he's going to be used enough, I think is what's going to make or break him in fantasy. But I think he has the ability to be a really, really good running back.
Okay, so and I took a chance on him, like hoping that he pans out for me. And I took Smith from the Eagles. I think he's going to be a big piece. I think they're going to use him a lot. And I went with youth. That was my strategy this time, right?
Yeah.
And then here's my bench. This is where I'm not sure. So I took Gay as my kicker. I took the Patriots because somebody stole the damn Bills because I feel the Bills are going to have a big defensive year this year. But they stole the Bills. So I went with the Patriots. They put a lot of money. Belichick's, like you said, Belichick is looking to redeem himself. So hopefully they come out huge. Wilson as my backup. Coleman, Pollard, Parrish Campbell, I like a lot. And Gabriel Davis. I feel like Gabriel Davis is going to give us some points where people are like, what? Who's Gabriel Davis? And they're still sleeping on Gabriel Davis. So looking at that fantasy team, are you like, I don't know.
I mean, for a 14-man league, that's not bad. You know, that's not bad. And especially having Josh Allen, he can carry your team. So, I mean, if you get good production out of like a few of those guys each week and then Josh Allen, you could do fine in that league.
Listen, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for no injuries, and we're going from there. I see my man Bobby Ray says, "Your pair always down to trade the kitchen sink." if you can find a way, if I can
get a starting running back for Darnell Mooney, I might make the trade.
Hit him up. You bet. Listen, he's always willing to wheel and deal. So that's where we are right now. So my man Bobby Ray comes back and says, "Your 3 rookie receivers you're relying on something wrong with Rico's Cabase." Listen, hopefully these rookies come in and deal. They're not like rookie running backs. These are receivers. They're gonna be on the field. They're gonna play. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing something huge, folks. That's our show tonight. Clay, how do you feel, baby?
I feel good. I feel really good. I don't know if I've been this excited for a football season ever in my life, man.
Wow. This is huge. I'm actually very excited this year because there's so much going on. This defense is primed. Here's the thing with this whole situation. We're sitting in a position where we've gone to the AFC Conference Championship. We tasted what it felt to go through adversity. Right, we're going against the Baltimore Ravens. It takes a pick 6 for us to win the freaking game and just put them to bed. It takes a bat down from Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer in that Colts game, right? So we're it's not like we're lighting teams up. And then we go against the freaking Chiefs. We play the Chiefs before and we lose to them. We're like, this is the game that we do it, and we fall short. I feel that the taste is still there. Yeah, and I think that we're destined for a very good year this year. I feel good. I feel real good. I feel just as good as you do.
I feel so good. There's such a good team. Even the media, the national media thinks the Bills are going to win games. That's how good the team is. So it's just so exciting.
I've never seen so much red, blue, and white when picking their teams. Who's going to pick? I'm thinking I'm going to see a whole bunch of yellow and black. It's just red, blue, white, red, blue, white, red, blue, white. So have we made it? Is national media finally saying, okay, we believe in these Bills?
Hey, national media doesn't win games. We don't make it till we win those games.
I totally agree. So, folks, that is the end of our show. This is the smoke break. I took away my man Z-Bot's smoke break. We got to bring that thing back for my man Z-Bot. So, listen, Z-Bot, get healthy. We'll see you soon, my man. And this has been a fantastic show. Clay, we've got to do this more often, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're going to get you on because going around the league and touching on fantasy, that F word, it's always great. And I'm looking forward to seeing if we get rid of Darnell Mooney.
It'll be an interesting one. I'll definitely let you know.
Yeah, for sure. So, folks, that is our time. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to myself and my man Clay, the young prodigy, the wing taster. So anytime that I may have advice on wings, I'm just gonna hit my man up because he tasted so many damn wings. He'll know. Nah, Rico, you don't want to do that one. That's no good. You want to try this one. By the way, remember, wetter is better. It came out from man Clay's mouth. He says, I like a bit of sauce on my wing. So wetter is better. Remember that. So, folks, that's the end of our time here. You guys have a fantastic night. I am Rico. This is
Clay Troya.
That's it. And we are representing the Buffalo Fanatics. And this is the smoke break. You guys have yourself a great night. And we will see you guys tomorrow. It's going to be who's up tomorrow? It's Dave and Steve. It's the Air Raid boys. We'll see you guys. And then we'll see you Friday night. It's going to be a remember, I didn't say fan. I said fam-centric show. So it's going to be a lot of calls. If you guys want to call in, if you guys want to come and video in, hit me up. I'll send you the link and we'll be doing it. It's a fan-centric type of show. And then it's game time on Sunday. You guys have yourself a great night. This is Clay and Rico, and we out.